If you're looking to digitalise your colour negative film, then this is the video for you. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through step by step how I digitalise my colour negative film so that I can edit it in either Lightroom or Photoshop. So my normal go-to film is medium format, but more recently I've been experimenting with 35mm. So this is my Pentax K2 and I've had this camera for a long time, 6 or 7 years. It was my first ever film camera and I haven't used it in a long time. I recently reconnected with it and I put a roll of Kodak Portra 400 through it. So in today's video we're going to go through and scan some 35mm film. But you know, the process is the same whether you're shooting medium format or large format. The only thing that really changes is the type of film holder that you use. So before we get into the scanning, there's some things that we're going to need. We need some equipment, and the first thing we need is a scanner. Now my scanner of choice is an Epson V800 scanner. It does great for medium format and large format. It's kind of so-so for 35mm, although I'm reasonably happy with the results I've been getting with it recently. The next thing we're going to need is a computer and some software to run the scanner. So I've got an iMac here on my desk and the software of my choice is Silverfast. We're also going to need some accessories. We're going to need something for the management of dust, which is a rocket blower. We're also going to need some tweezers, although not essential but handy to keep your fingers off the film. And we're also going to need some cotton gloves, and they're also quite handy for keeping fingerprints off your film. You can pick up the gloves and the tweezers at your local art store. I'll leave a link down below where you can get the rocket blower from, and if you want to check out the scanner and the software, I'll also leave links in the description section below. So to scan some colour negative film, you're obviously going to need some film, and I've got some Kodak Portra 400 here that I shot recently, and I've already loaded a strip of that into the 35mm film holder. This is the film holder for the Epson V800. In here you can load 18 images, and for today's video we're just going to be scanning 6 images. So I've got the film holder loaded, and when you're loading the film into the film holder, just take some time to make sure that you're putting it in correctly. When you lay it down in the film holder, make sure that you can read the writing correctly on the film, and just make sure that you pay attention to the borders because it's quite easy to cut off the edge of the images with the way that this film holder works. So we've got it loaded, and now we're going to put it in the scanner, and then we're going to jump into my computer and fire up the software. So once you've loaded your film into your flatbed scanner, jump into your computer and fire up Silverfast. And when you do so, this is the interface that you're presented with. Now every time you open up Silverfast, it remembers the previous scan information, which is why you can see the black and white images here on my computer. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to head over here and we're going to set the computer up to scan colour negative, and we're going to do that by clicking on 48-bit. So once we've done that, then we're going to go ahead and do a pre-scan, and the flatbed scanner will do a pre-scan. This will take some time, so I'll fast forward this section. So the scanner's finished its pre-scan, and now we're going to go over to the frame tool here, and we're going to go and click find frames. So this tool you have to play around with a little bit. I have some hits and I have some misses with it, but it basically automatically detects the frames on the computer. So I just go ahead and click on all frames, and it'll find the frames and hopefully it'll pick them all out. And as you can see, it's had a go, but they're not quite aligned. So at this point we'll just go in and realign them very quickly. This shouldn't take too long to do that because there's only 6. And as you can see, the computer's detected only 5, so what we need to do, we need to create another one. And the way we do that is we go up here and we select duplicate, and it will create a duplicate, and we just basically drag it over on top of the spare one. So that's it. So we just pick one to scan, and we'll just click on this one here because it looks quite interesting. It's got some nice colours. So we'll go ahead and zoom in. Now the scanner will do another scan here, so I will fast forward this section. Okay, so the scanner has finished its more detailed scan, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to fix the border, and you can do that in a number of ways. You can click on it and you can drag it around. So you just line it up the best you can, and as you can see it's a little bit wonky, it's not quite following the edge of the film, so you can press on the side bit here and just rotate it a little bit to try and level it out, and then you can pull in the boundaries, so we just stretch it out to where we want it to be. So when we're doing this, we just want to make sure that we don't have any of the black bit selected because that will play havoc with the colours when we scan the film. So that looks good. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to jump over to the toolbar here on the left, and as you can see down at the bottom here we've got a tool called Negafix. Now this is one of the strengths of Silverfast, and as you can see there are a number of vendors already preloaded, and you go ahead and select the vendor that suits the film that you're scanning, and you can go in and select the film type, and there we go, there's Portra 400. And here we have a colour cast correction, so we can just toggle that on and off to see if we like it. I don't really like the cyan cast that it's got, so I will remove that by leaving it selected. So now we want to go ahead and add some other tools, and there's 3 tools that I like to add. The first one is the histogram, so we go ahead and add that. And then the second one is a sharpening mask, or it's called an unsharpening mask in Silverfast, which is here on the left, so we'll add that. And as you can see, the scanner's done a great job of scanning the negative, but it's also done a great job of scanning all the dust and fibres that are on the negative. Silverfast has a great tool for that. It's called ISRD, and it uses an infrared light on the scanner to detect any objects on the film, and it removes them. And this is the tool here, so we'll just add that as well. So while we're here, we'll go ahead and adjust the histogram, just the white point and the black point, and then just the midtones. When you adjust the midtones, it comes down to personal preference and what you like. I think I might just darken that down a little bit. When I shot this film, I didn't quite shoot it at box speed 400, I was shooting it at 200 speed, so it's slightly overexposed. So I'm just going to darken it down a little bit, which I think that looks okay. So I've set up the first negative, and now we need to do the rest. So we just zoom out, and before we select on anything else, we go up here on the left to frame, and we click on copy settings to all frames. So what that'll do, it'll just supply all the settings that we just selected on that particular first frame. As you can see, some of the colours are not quite right, but we can go ahead and fix that as we go through. So what we have to do now is we have to go in and adjust each one individually. And so we'll do that quickly. I'll fast forward this section because it'll take some time to do, but basically all I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and adjust the borders and tweak the histogram a little bit and check for any colour correction. Okay, so that's all the images prepared ready for scan. So just to reconfirm what I did there, I set up the first image to how I wanted to apply the tools and the frame to these images. I then went and copied them settings to all the other images. I then went into each individual image and adjusted the border and tweaked the histogram and checked for colour cast. I removed colour cast from all the images except this one of the flax, because there's quite a strong yellow cast in there which came through from the flax colours itself, and I didn't want to remove that. Apart from this one here, which had quite a strong yellow cast from the flax themselves, and they were being backlit, and I didn't want to remove that colour, so I've left the cast removal tool switched off for that particular image. So now we're ready to do the scan, and so we're going to go up here and just check the bit depth on each of the scans, and as you can see from the densimeter, they're all on 8-bit, and we're going to change that to 16-bit. It probably would have been quicker had I done that when I did the first image. Some of them are already 16-bit. That's it, so they're all 16-bit. So this is the tool where we decide what we're going to call the image, where we're going to save it, and the size of the image. We've got 300 pixels per inch, and that's plenty for viewing on the screen. And in terms of the resolution, 2400 pixel per inch is more than enough for this. I wouldn't go any higher than that really, because you're not really adding much value to the images. All you're really doing is increasing the megabit size of the image. So that's all the tools set up now, and I'm happy to start scanning. So Silverfast has quite an interesting batch tool, so we can go ahead and click scan, but when we click it we hold it and then go down to batch scan. And as you'll see, there'll be another tool that comes up, and what we can do here is we can select where we're going to save it. We'll give it a file name. And we leave the index active selected, and so it will give a number for every image that's scanned. So we'll go ahead and click scan. This will take some time, so I'll fast forward this section, and towards the end of this video we'll see the images on my desktop. Okay, so the scanner's finished doing its scan now. That took about 15 to 20 minutes to do 6 images, so you can apply that by 3 if you want to do 18 images, and that'll give you a rough indication of the time that it takes to do this. So after scanning those 6 images, I loaded them up into Lightroom and made some minor adjustments. I adjusted the white point and the black point and the mid-tone and the contrast, and I also adjusted some of the colours. I weren't particularly happy with some of the colours that I got out of the scans, particularly some of the cyans, so I fixed that in Lightroom. What I'll do is I'll put a short slideshow up now for you to look at the images, and if you want to give me some comments in the section below, that would be awesome. So I hope you enjoyed that slideshow. You now have all the information to start scanning some of your colour negative film. If you've got some other film that you want to scan, like black and white film or colour positive slide film, then please check out my video feed where I've got tutorials on how to do that. I'll also leave a link in the description section down below, and you'll get a notification up here somewhere of those videos as well. So if you want to be notified of some more videos that I've got coming out in the future, please subscribe to my channel. So just to give you a quick update on what I've got coming out in terms of videos over the next couple of weeks. I've got a video that I'm working on at the minute called Scanning with a DSLR. So if you don't own a flatbed scanner like me and you have a DSLR, you can also scan your film with your camera. I've got another video in the pipeline on what's in my bag, and that'll be based on a landscape film photographer's perspective. So that could be quite exciting if you're interested in some of the gear that I use. I've also got some pictures that I want to print and frame, so I'm going to do a video on printing and then a separate video on framing images. So if you want to be notified of some of those videos when they come out, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, and you'll receive an email or a notification when the videos are uploaded. So if you're a subscriber to my channel, you probably know that I recently had a back operation. Over the last couple of months I've been suffering with quite bad sciatica, and ended up having a spinal surgery on my back to remove some of the disc that was squashing my sciatic nerve. Just want to let you guys know that that went really well. I'm back home now and I'm recovering really well. I've got about 3 to 6 weeks before I can actually drive again, so it does mean that I'm going to be pretty much housebound doing videos like this until I'm able to get back out and vlogging again. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned something. If you think that I missed something in the video or you want to ask some questions, please leave a comment or a question down below and I'll do my best to answer that for you. And I will see you next time. Bye for now. Take care.